I want to speak to you honestly, not as a figure, not as a name you see repeated everywhere, but as a man who is tired. I am not tired of loving. I am tired of searching, tired of opening the door again and again, hoping that this time someone will walk in and stay without asking me to become someone else. When I talk to you now, I'm not looking for answers. I'm looking for understanding. Maybe you are tired too. Maybe that is why you are here listening to me instead of turning away. If you're listening, leave one word in the comments. Elon Musk. That's how we recognize each other in this community. What wears me down is not heartbreak. It is the search itself, the constant readiness to begin again, the quiet agreement I make with myself every time I meet someone new, promising to be open, patient, hopeful, as if hope were an endless resource. Searching has become heavy. Each start asks for faith before it earns trust. Each conversation carries the weight of possibility, and impossibility is exhausting when it never settles. Presence costs energy. It asks me to soften edges I built for survival, to explain parts of myself that don't translate easily. I believe love deserves effort, yet effort repeated without rest turns into fatigue, and fatigue becomes distance. I don't want to grow distant from myself just to remain open to someone else. Searching keeps me in motion, but motion can hide emptiness, disguise avoidance as optimism. Hope for me has become weight, never resting, replaying words, filling silence with meaning that may not exist. I've learned that hope can be generous but also demanding, asking me to invest emotionally before there is stability to lean on. Over time, that drains you quietly. Letting hope rest does not make it disappear, it makes it clearer. I am learning that love does not require constant anticipation to remain alive. Sometimes, while trying to love, I feel as if I am slowly negotiating pieces of who I am, softening, explaining, shrinking, not because anyone asks directly, but because love often comes with unspoken conditions. I don't want love to feel like quiet erasure. True love should not ask us to trade identity for belonging. It should ask us to arrive whole. Many of my relationships didn't end because of conflict, but because of mismatched pace, moving in the same direction without moving together. Love needs pauses, not endurance mistaken for loyalty. Staying should not require more strength than leaving. A love that asks you to survive instead of rest is not love, it is endurance. I've also learned how intimacy changes when life feels observed, when privacy is fragile and vulnerability feels exposed. What I seek is not secrecy but safety. I began to see patterns repeating, not because I failed, but because I hadn't changed the structure beneath my choices. Recognition brought clarity. I am redefining love, away from urgency and intensity towards steadiness and presence. Slowing down is not giving up. It is choosing rest over exhaustion. Rest is not weakness, it is wisdom. If love arrives, I want it to arrive gently, honestly, without demanding I rearrange myself to make it stay. I am not asking to be saved or to save anyone I want to be met. I will not chase what drains me or confuse longing with connection. If love comes, I want to be rested enough to recognize it. If it doesn't, I will still be whole. If any part of this felt familiar, then this conversation did its work. If it made you think, type Elon Musk below. That single word tells me you're one of the few. There is something else I want to say quietly, without trying to convince anyone. I have learned that being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness feels like absence, but being alone can feel like alignment. In this space, I am no longer performing readiness, no longer proving that I can adapt, no longer negotiating my boundaries to keep someone close. I am listening to myself again, to the parts that grew tired from being strong and patient and understanding for too long. I am learning that peace is not boring, it is honest. That calm is not emptiness, it is safety. And that the right connection will not interrupt this stillness, but recognize it. If someone enters my life now, they will not be my escape from solitude, they'll be my companion within it. I do not want a love that distracts me from myself. I want one that allows me to stay present, grounded, and real, without fear of being left the moment I stop trying. So if you are listening, if something and you feel seen instead of stirred into urgency, then maybe you understand what I mean. I am no longer chasing intensity or grand declarations. I am choosing clarity. I am choosing conversations that don't drain me, silences that don't punish me, and connections that don't ask me to explain my worth. Love, to me now, is not about being chosen at any cost. It is about being met without conditions. If and when it arrives, it won't rush me, test me, or exhaust me. It will feel like recognition, like coming home to a place that was never lost. And if it takes time, I am not afraid of that anymore. I trust myself enough now to wait without forcing, to hope without burning, and to believe that what is meant to stay will not require me to disappear to make room for it. There comes a point in life where you realize that strength is no longer about pushing forward without pause. It is about knowing when to stop, when to sit with yourself, and when to admit that constantly trying has left you tired in ways no one else can see. I used to believe that effort could fix everything, that if I stayed open long enough, patient enough, hopeful enough, something meaningful would finally stay. But what no one tells you is that endless openness without safety slowly turns into exhaustion. You begin to give from places that were never meant to be emptied. You smile while feeling heavy, you listen while feeling unseen, and you keep showing up even when something inside you is quietly asking for rest. This kind of tiredness doesn't come from failure. It comes from consistency without care, from always being the one who understands, adjusts, waits, and believes a little longer. Over time, you realize that love should not feel like a test of endurance. It should not require you to abandon your inner quiet just to keep someone close. Real connection does not demand urgency, explanation, or performance. It does not rush you to become someone easier to hold. True love allows you to arrive as you are, without fear that slowing down will make you disposable. And when you finally understand this, you stop chasing not because you've lost hope, but because you've learned the cost of ignoring yourself for too long. What changed me was not one heartbreak, not one ending, but the realization that I was repeating the same emotional pattern while expecting a different outcome. Every beginning felt promising, every middle felt heavy, and every ending left me questioning my own depth. I started to see that I wasn't afraid of being alone. I was afraid of resting without a purpose. Searching had become my distraction, movement my comfort, hope my responsibility. But hope that never rests becomes a burden, and love that never feels safe becomes survival. I no longer want a connection that keeps me alert, waiting, interpreting silence, or questioning my worth. I want a love that feels calm enough to breathe in, steady enough to trust, and quiet enough to let me be myself without editing. I don't want to be chosen because I endured the most or tried the hardest. I want to be met because who I am is enough. If love enters my life now, it must walk, not run. It must listen, not rush. It must stay present instead of making promises about the future. And if it doesn't arrive, I am no longer afraid of that either. Because I have learned that peace is not emptiness, rest is not giving up, and choosing myself is not selfish. It is the foundation that allows real love to exist when it finally comes without fear, without pressure, and without exhaustion. And protecting it from becoming careless. I in 39. I want you to hear this here. This is my thing of my life anyway. I want you to hear this here, not make space in my life. I want my space something healthier. And it's how I believe the same is how I make space. I'll repeat the same patterns. How I see and now very nice listening out of me. that I can no longer believe live to feel like a text message. That's not proving that I can no longer believe feel like I believe this to my spirit nation. I believe it should feel like I believe it's in feeling like I and grinning. Well, I should feel maybe cyber not away this smell like it's hard to body and maybe this point of the body. I don't need to know why this plans to be not trying to change because I'm not broken trans. We're not broken, just we're not going to children who are used to anything movies that we're current one. I think I might be me, you know, as Matt, you know, it's on you, I know, so I don't know if you want to know if you want to people before I believe we're one of the few